Now, one of the most commonly used investment instruments for saving taxes is the Public Provident Fund, or the PPF. And hence, this particular change in law would, I suppose, be relevant to almost everybody. And that's the new PPF scheme of 2019. There have been certain tweaks, certain changes that have come about. We'll be discussing how big they are, how small they are in just a bit from now. And we're also going to be talking about the new rules by the PFRDA when it comes to the Provident Fund, that's the EPFO. They want to bring about the annuity bid, they want to bring about SWP, they want to let the pensioner have some more flexibility in managing his or her EPF account. So, let's talk about all of this and more with Jitendra Solanki. He's the founder of JS Financial Advisor. Jitendra, thank you so much for joining us on The Money Show. And I'd like to start off first with the PPF scheme of 2019. It's after many, many years that we are seeing some changes come about in the Public Provident Fund scheme. So if you could highlight that for our viewers, how will it change life for us? You know, will it matter as to, will it make a difference of sorts to what sort of interest I earn on my PPF account? Or will that be untouched?
Well, Public Provident Fund has been the most sought after instruments and has been widely utilized by I would say all Indians for their long-term savings. So there are a lot of changes which has been made for PPF to make it more liquid and make it more attractive. So I'll just go through some of the changes which has been done. So the first change which has been done is that the deposits which were used to be in multiples of rupees 100 has been now made in multiples of rupees 50, and there is no limit. Previously it was around 12 deposit you can make in a year. And that is the first change which has come up. The second is that a premature closure. Now this is big because PPF is a long-term investment scheme, and it was to be continued for 15 years, and then after that 5 years extension for in a block of 5 years. Now premature closure has been allowed after 5 years in certain conditions, and this is going to be big because say it's a change of residency status, or you need money for higher education of your children, or there is a health issues in your family, spouse, children's, all have been covered, even parents also. You can close the account and take out the money. So that is one. The third one is that a loan from PPF account. So you can take a loan from PPF account. Now the interest rate on that has been revised from 2% to 1%. The loan which you have to, the principal you have to pay in the next 36 months, and subsequently in 2 installments the interest has to be paid. So that has been revised. And lastly, post office. Now the ease of investing has also been done in post office, because most of the Indians, I would say, has been investing PPF through post office, and it used to be a big hassle. If you have opened an account in one branch and you move out to another city and then deposit money, withdrawing, it used to be a hassle. So now it has been eased. So if you deposit a check in one post office and you move out, you want to deposit in a non-home post office branch, it is very well acceptable, and the check hasn't to be gone for clearing. The check is treated as par. So these are some of the changes which has been done in PPF, and I would say a lot of things would change. It is going to be much easier, more attractive PPF schemes, and as I said, it is widely used by most Indians, and today also I think we as an advisor also advise that PPF account is one of the best instruments you have.
Yeah, that it is. And even though in India interest rates have been going down, the RBI has been cutting interest rates. I think for the last 3 odd quarters, the interest rates on such small savings scheme has stayed put. So all the more, I suppose, it makes it a very attractive, investment proposition. Now, I want to talk about that bit you mentioned, Jitendra,
Yes.
on the loan, interest rate on loan taken from the PPF account. So it has been cut from, 2% to 1%. But 2 questions here. Firstly, what is the duration of the loan that I'm allowed to take maximum? And secondly, during the time that I've taken the loan, will I be eligible to earn any interest of that 7.9 odd % on the PPF account?
Okay, so you can take a loan against your PPF account. Now there is a limit to it. It's a maximum of 25% of the balance balance you have, and it is calculated at the end of the second year immediately preceding in the year you have applied for the loan. So if I am applied for a loan in 2015, 2016, so my balance at the end year March 2014 would be seen, and 25% of that I can take a maximum loan. Now, once I have taken a loan, the principal has to be repaid in 36 months. And subsequently, the interest has to be paid into 2 installments. So this is the repayment schedule of a loan you have taken from a PPF. And yes, as I said, the loan is not a complete amount. It's only on 25% of the amount, and you are able to earn the interest on your PPF deposit as well. So it's for not a very long duration, not a very short duration, but I would say it's for a 3 years period you can take a loan from PPF, but to a certain limit.
Okay. All right. Another question when it comes to the entire, closure bit of the PPF, like change in residency was one, sort of condition that was added if I want to close my PPF account prematurely. But what if I want to continue holding on to my PPF account? Let's say I'm going to become an American citizen or a Canadian citizen, but PPF is a great savings method like we spoke about earlier. So what if I want to continue keeping the PPF account? While my status changes, I become an NRI, am I allowed to continue holding the PPF account? And, I don't necessarily want to close it.
So NRIs are not allowed to open a PPF account, but if you have opened a PPF account when you are resident Indian and if you have changed status, then as an NRI, you can keep the account till the maturity period, that is for 15 years. After that, you have to necessarily close it. There will be no extension allowed. So for the maturity period, you can continue the account, but after that, you have to necessarily close the account.
And one final question on PPF before I move on to the new EPF4 rules, and this is with respect to continuity of deposit. So let's say, FY16 I deposited that 1 lakh, 1,50,000 or whatever amount I want. Similarly, FY17, FY18, and then FY19, let's say I did not deposit an amount. Is my PPF account still valid? Does it continue? Can I continue just giving myself that break in FY19 for whatever reason, and maybe in FY20 again I continue depositing whatever amount I want? Is it okay to do that?
Yes, you are allowed to continue a PPF account with a minimum of rupees 500 deposit. So 2019, if I do not want to deposit my 1.5 lakh or 50,000, I am depositing. But if I just deposit 500 rupees, my account remains in the active state, does not go into a dormant state. So that is the rule for the continuity of PPF account.
Okay, and what if it goes into dormancy? What is the procedure then to reactivate it?
So you have to pay the contribution which has been missed out, and you have to pay the contribution, and then you can continue the account.
Straightforward. All right. Okay. Now I want to talk about the new rules that are being proposed right now for the PFRD by the PFRDA. From a preliminary reading, it looks like it wants to give some more flexibility, to the pensioners. In fact, I'm just going to pull that up and, sort of read those out to our viewers, because what essentially the PFRDA wants to do is it wants to junk annuities. It wants to go a bit more flexible, and not just that, it also just wants one unified regulator for all pension products. So whether it's the unit-linked pension plans, or the EPS, the EPFO, superannuation funds, everything, it wants the PFRDA. It wants one unified regulator actually to be able to regulate all of these products, because at present it's very split up. Also, it wants to introduce the SWP for NPS subscribers on maturity as an additional option. So, Jitendra, I would like to talk to you about all of these proposals. I suppose they're proposals right now. They've not been yet put to paper. So, yeah, what do you make of this, especially this SWP bit? How does it benefit the pensioners?
Okay, first we look at that the way NPS structured is today is that it's a contribution scheme. You contribute until the period of your retirement when you want to retire, and after that you can withdraw the 60% of the corpus, and rest 40% you have to take a necessary annuity. Now, there are a few large drawbacks of any annuity you received. First of all, it is taxable, and the second is that the annuity is not increased with inflation. So, you are not able to capture the inflation when you are taking an annuity from any life insurance company. So it's kind of a fixed income which you receive for the life. Now, if you just look at these two drawbacks, then the taxation hits you very badly when you're in a 30% tax bracket, and if you're not able to capture the inflation, then after 10 years when annuity started, probably my income will be short of meeting my expenses, which is increasing at the 7% inflation, and annuity rates has been quite low. Now, I think PFRDA understand that this is a major drawback, and that's why they want to bring in the SWP option, that is systematic withdrawal plan option, which has all these benefits, and where you as a subscriber, you can really benefit from SWP option, catering to inflation, tax efficiency, much like you have SWP in mutual funds, where you are able to address all these aspects.
Yeah, exactly like an SWP mutual fund. So would it be taxed also? Exactly like how an SWP mutual fund would be taxed?
We are assuming that, but this clarity still has to come, that whether they will be taxed much like mutual funds. So I think that clarity still has to come. So, but we are expecting that more or less it will be taxed similar to what SWP in mutual funds taxation rates are.
Okay, all right. So essentially, this whole concept of, junking annuities, returns are low, going for SWP would provide some more flexibility to the pensioners. Also, this whole bit on a unified regulator, because at present, from what I understand, ULPPs are governed by the insurance regulator, that's the IRDAI, and then you have EPS, which is governed by the EPFO. Superannuation funds are governed sometimes by the employer, sometimes I suppose by, other insurance companies that may be appointed by the employer. So, how would Mr. Solanki, a unified regulator, ease things for the customer, for the pensioner? I mean, I'm sure it becomes much simpler for any, for any grievance to be put forward. It perhaps would, simplify the entire product as well that's available out there in the market.
Yes, if you look at the structure today, so there are different regulators, and not even different regulators, there are different pension products. So you have ULIPs, you have NPS coming in, managed by different regulators. You have retirement products from mutual fund managed by different regulators, and all of these have got a really different structure. Also, we have seen in the previous, there has been differences within the regulators, SEBI and IRDA, of managing the ULIPs. So I think to remove all these, to bring a uniform regulator, first of all, it will reduce the confusion. There would be no confusion who is managing, these kind of products. The second is surely the benefit would be on the product sides. The products are if there is a single regulator, the product structure, is going to be something similar, and we do not have so much of confusion with different products, different interest, and the managed differently by different companies. So I think having a unified regulator for a complete pension industry, it is going to be good for the consumers also, for subscribers also, and plus, as I said, there would be a good direction for the industry, and a lot of confusion which is happening today, which is there today, I think that will not be there.
Okay, well, that's the hope really, and I suppose that's the idea as well behind this proposal, though of course we are yet to see any concrete decisions with respect to the same. All right, Jitendra, on that note, thank you so much for joining us and simplifying all of these rules for our viewers. Like we said, it's going to impact almost everybody because PPF is a very popular product, and of course all of us have a provident fund as well, especially if you're employed.